Hi, my name is Elisa Dana Adamitis, and I'm a doctoral candidate at the University of Minnesota. I'm currently getting my degree in design, housing, and apparel. Choosing a career is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. You need to think about your interests and skills and explore all your options. In family and consumer sciences, your career opportunities are limited only by your imagination. With a degree in this field, you can do almost anything, from teaching to food to fashion to design. Today we're going to meet 9 family and consumer science professionals who've built fascinating careers doing the things they love. They'll talk about their jobs and what it takes to succeed. Our first guest teaches students about real life, managing money, relationships, food and nutrition, child psychology, and more.
I became interested in the area of family consumer science probably my junior or senior year in high school. While a lot of my friends were taking the industrial arts classes or ag classes, I think family is an important part of my life and an important part of everyone's life, and I knew I always wanted to be into teaching, so I thought family consumer science was the way to go with me. Some of my job responsibilities include buying groceries outside of the classroom, buying supplies that might be needed, lining up guest speakers that would come into class, field trips, and then some of my extracurricular activities are I am the FCCLA advisor for our school, a wrestling coach, and a football coach. What I like most about my job is the impact I make on children and the fact that they come up to me and tell me I've influenced their life somehow, or I've changed a life in some way. You know, that's more important to me than any money. And the worst part about my job, or the least important part of my job, is the lack of time I have in a day to accomplish some of the goals I would like to do. You have a lot of outside time, and the time issue really is a problem sometimes. The job outlook for area of family consumer science is great. When I got out of college, I had the several options to go with. I could have went to many different states, different areas of the country, different countries, and the number of retiring teachers has been increasing, so the job outlook is just excellent.
As in any career, the amount of money you can make depends on your level of experience and what part of the country you live in. Robin Stranges grew up in a family of artists and architects. She loves helping people create beautiful, comfortable living spaces. Her work as an interior designer is highly creative but also demanding.
A typical day on my job would be running around a lot. I might leave home and go out to a job site and check something. Maybe I need to meet with the painter and check a final paint color. Or if the house is under construction, sometimes I'm meeting with the electrician. We're deciding on where to put outlets, especially if they're in the floor. So I might go out to a job site, go into my office, meet with a client in my office. What I like most about being a designer is the relationships I've formed. Some of these people I've worked with for 20 years now, and I'm helping their children, and it's a very personal relationship. The thing I like least about it is there are many things that happen that are beyond my control, and sometimes they make me look bad, like, the truck that the chair was on was in a flood, and so my client didn't get their furniture for their big party, or all kinds of things. The drapery installer measured wrong, and they came out with a window treatment that was totally the wrong size. Things like that happen. No matter how careful I am, there are still problems. It's a problematic job. Lots of details go into planning an interior, and you have to be very detail-oriented. But for the most part, I love it because it is my passion. I think the job outlook for design is excellent, whether it's residential or commercial. People are appreciating the value of hiring a designer now, and they realize they can't do it all themselves. And every new big building that's going up today has a designer that's responsible for picking all of the finishes and the carpeting. My biggest piece of advice would be to get a job selling something, because you're selling your concept, you're selling yourself, ideas, you're selling maybe the furnishings, and you need to be able to communicate to people and convince them why they should do what you are presenting to them. So even if you get a job selling wallpaper, it's a start. It's important experience that you'll need.
Our next guest was drawn to his career as a dietitian through his love of athletics. He realized that good nutrition is an important part of staying fit. Now he helps others develop healthy lifestyles.
Well, currently I'm working as a wellness and health promotion counselor with a local insurance company, and my job responsibilities include counseling people on a wide variety of health and wellness related topics, teaching them how they can control their cholesterol, reduce their risk of diabetes. I even get to talk about sport nutrition with some people, so it gets interesting and more enjoyable at that point. Well, I do all of my counseling over the phone, and so a typical day at work for me is to come to work and go through email messages, voicemail messages, and call people for phone-based appointments. I do all of my work on the computer and then over the phone, so a lot of it is at my desk. The things I like best about my job are the ability to make a positive impact in people's lives, to see the results of working with someone for a period of time and seeing them come back and say, you know, I lowered my cholesterol, or, you know, I've lost weight and I feel great and I look better and my outlook has improved. Really making a difference in people's lives is probably the most rewarding aspect of it. I think in terms of advice for people even considering going into the field would be to definitely take a lot of science and math classes in high school to prepare you for some of the studies you'll need to be doing at the college level and the postgraduate level to be a dietitian. There's a lot of importance placed on awareness of medical conditions and medical terminology, and while math may not be the most important part, you do a lot of math when you're calculating caloric requirements for people and nutritional requirements, so you do need to be familiar and comfortable with those types of calculations. There's jobs in the healthcare industry, obviously in hospitals and clinics, with insurance companies, working on the prevention end of it. There's also jobs in food service, working in kitchens, in public health programs like Meals on Wheels, school lunch program and the like. So the job outlook is very good. I think there will always be jobs in dietetics.
Jackie Sheehan says the experience she gained working on her high school yearbook helped her qualify for her unique career. She started out as a teacher, but then went to work for Pillsbury. Her supervisor noticed her publishing skills on her resume. Now, she's a senior cookbook editor.
These are some of the cookbooks that I work on. This is part of the Pillsbury Classic Cookbook series. The series started in 1979, and we produce a new title every single month. And my husband always says to me, he thinks I'm lucky to have the job I do because every month I can go in the grocery store and see what I've worked on for the past 9 months. When you develop recipes, it really is a science, and a lot of things have to be very precise and exact, and you have to understand food chemistry. And so at that point, it's science. But when we get to producing the cookbooks, we pick a design for the cookbook. We pick a palette of colors that we use for the props in the cookbook. And putting the cookbook together and shooting the photos for the cookbook is very creative. So that's the art side. You need to be good at managing people. I work with many teams. I work with the teams that print the cookbook. I work with the teams that design it and do the photography. I work with the teams that develop the recipes in the kitchen. And so you have to have good people skills and excellent communication skills to keep all of these teams working and working toward a common goal. You also have to be a good detail person because there are very many deadlines. And so you have to stay on top of these in order to get projects done in time and to get them done within budget. I think the important thing in any career is to have a passion for something. And if you have a passion for food, for cookbooks, you can, I think, find your way to some career, whether it's cookbook editing or starting your own food business or being a chef or making meals for a busy family who doesn't have time to cook for themselves. There are just many places that you can go. So I think you have a passion for something, you have good transferable skills, and you can do pretty much anything you want to do.
For more than 20 years, Penn Standifer has been helping kids with special needs develop good life skills. He says teaching can be a very rewarding career, but there are also many challenges.
Typically, getting kids to first behave appropriately, and then also getting them to concentrate on the curriculum that I'm trying to teach them, basically self-sufficiency, how to perform in the domestic setting of like the kitchen, how they maintain the kitchen, how they cook the food, prepare the food, and how they store the food, how to maintain their clothing and their personal hygiene, things of that nature. You have to be able to set the climate of your classroom, because if you don't, the students will. You have to be fair and honest with them. You have to gain their trust. The trust is earned, it's not given. You must love your job, because if you don't love your job, you will burn out quickly. What I like most about teaching is looking at where I started with the kids at the beginning and then how I end up with them at the end. I want to see the progression, what they've learned, and how they apply it to their everyday life. What I like least about teaching is the bureaucracy that goes on with it, and also the horrendous amount of paperwork that comes with the position in which I hold. Oh, job outlook is excellent for teaching. We need a lot of teachers because there's a shortage of them, but the outlook is great because there's always going to be kids to teach.
Our next guest has always been interested in looking good and staying in fashion. Now, as a sales associate of a retail store, she spends her day selling clothing and jewelry.
When women come in, I greet them and ask them if they need anything and make some small talk. And if they ask me that or tell me that they're just looking, I say okay and let them browse. And if they find anything, I help them in the dressing room. I get them different outfits or different sizes or take things they like or don't like. And then, of course, I check them out and bag their clothes and give a salutation, and that's it. I like meeting new people all the time, every day. I like helping women find things they love and look good in. It's always exciting to see someone walk out of the store with a big smile on their face and having them all excited about what they're wearing for the night or for a wedding or graduation, etc. I don't like pressing, but that comes with the job. I also don't like when I can't find a woman something to wear. There are times when they come in and don't find something that they love, or the color's not right, or we don't have the size. But these clothes aren't made for everyone, and that's just something you have to deal with sometimes. I do think patience is key, and that's something that I didn't know when I first started here. I thought that women would come in and be all excited and just buy anything they saw. But sometimes it takes a little while for someone to decide if they want to purchase a $150 outfit or a sweater or even as much as a turtleneck. They have to take some time to think it out and consider what they have in their own wardrobes at home. And it's just really, really key to remember to be patient with them. And you also have to be really friendly and confident in yourself and the choices that you make. I do think that the outlook is good. I believe that women are always going to want clothes that are a little bit different than what you see in big department stores. And I think women are always going to want clothes and new clothes. And so I really think that getting a job in the retail industry will be easy, and jobs will stick around. And it's important to remember that there are jobs other than just sales. You could design clothing, make clothing, own a store, rep clothing or a line, and it's not just being here selling clothes to women. There are different jobs involved in the big picture.
Kathy Chatelaine began her career teaching family and consumer sciences to high school students. She entered the field of early childhood education because she wanted to make a difference in the lives of children and their families.
The most critical stage of a person's development is from the ages of 0 to 5. In early childhood education, not only can a person impact a child's life and improve the quality through education and support, but also the parents who are their children's first and most important teacher. Two of the things I like most about my job include the variety. No day is alike. Whenever you work with young children, the things they bring to you, the excitement, changes on a day-to-day basis. The second thing is knowing that I have made a difference in the lives of young children and their families. Like many jobs, there are challenges within the administrative realm, including some search for funding and a mountain of paperwork. But overall, early childhood education is a fantastic field to enter. There are many opportunities for a person who wants to go into the early childhood care and education field. With a 2-year degree, someone could work within a daycare setting. A 4-year degree with licensure, a person could either enter the field as a parent educator or an early childhood educator. With an advanced degree, a person could work as a child psychologist, someone who works within family counseling, the ministry, medicine. The possibilities are endless.
Our next guest got his first college degree in chemistry, but he hated it. So after coming to the U.S., he went back to school, this time majoring in hotel and restaurant management. 20 years later, he has a fascinating career made up of several different jobs.
I currently run a couple of businesses. One is a food consulting business called The Essence of Time, and I teach cooking around the Twin Cities and around the country. And I also do some consulting for restaurants and so on, where I develop recipes. I work with catering companies also and do specialty menus and dinners for them. And of course, I also write cookbooks. And the other business that I've got, I'm a co-founder of a cooking school called the Asian Culinary Arts Institute. No 2 days of mine are the same because of the variety of things that I do in the hospitality business. It's never the same, but usually it starts off with phone calls, with charting out what my day looks like, with a lot of times I end up developing recipes, and I tend to do a lot of that, cooking at home and testing and creating. And I also do a lot of writing on a daily basis. And I think an ability to form relationships and to work with all sorts of people of all backgrounds, I think it's probably one of the most crucial skills that you need. This is a business that literally never sleeps. It is a business that is lucrative, especially in the area of finding a career and finding a job that meets your needs. Everybody has to eat. Everybody has to, they do some traveling in their lives. And it addresses a lot of those needs that I think is necessary. And as far as finding a job and being content with it, I think the possibilities are endless.
After successful careers in teaching and real estate, Sherry Peterson decided to start her own business. She and her sister make gourmet sausage, which they sell at the farmers market and over the internet. They hope to expand their sales to grocery stores and restaurants. Sherry says being a business owner or entrepreneur is exciting, but hard work.
Each day is varied. A big part of it is just taking care of the regular aspects of doing the business. For example, we measure out all of the ingredients for the sausages that we make. These ingredients are delivered to a meat processor, and during the course of a week, then sausages are made and packaged for us. We pick them up toward the end of the week and prepare for a weekend sale at the farmer's market. Then we get up at 3:30 in the morning and transport all of this to the farmer market site, set up our little business for the day, do business until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then you take down everything, go back home, and start over again for the next day. Probably the most paramount thing is, and surprisingly, is self-discipline. You'd think it maybe is just creativity or some spectacular idea, but the world is full of spectacular ideas that never get carried out because an individual doesn't have the self-discipline to do the daily grunt work that happens. One of the hard parts in entrepreneurialism is that you don't get a regular paycheck. You have to go out there every day and figure out how you are going to make a living with this business that you have. The beauty of each day is that it provides something different and unique, and always quite exciting. And if I had any piece of advice for what skills to attain, I would just say gather together as many life experiences as you can, because they will come into focus at some point in your life. So even if it is a job at a fast food restaurant, you're gaining skills and information and experience that will come to play sometime later.
All of the successful people we've met today began their careers with a degree in the area of family and consumer sciences. As we've seen, people may go through several different careers in a lifetime or end up doing something they've never dreamed possible. Change and challenges are a reality in today's workforce. No matter what path you take, start discovering your passion. If you love your work, the possibilities are endless.